Hey my fellow nerds, geeks, and or comic book lovers, welcome to my channel. My name is NeuroSpider369, and today I'll be ranking my top 5 Moon Knight villains. As always, this list is of my own personal opinion, so feel free to put your list down in the comments. Well, without further ado, let's get into it. Number 5. Morpheus. Robert Markham was an electrical engineer suffering from a rare viral infection before becoming the test subject of an experimental drug. However, due to some unforeseen side effects, he developed intense psionic abilities such as telepathy and dream manipulation, but at the cost of his own sanity as a result of sleep deprivation. Basically, this guy is Marvel's version of Freddy Krueger. Or to be more comic book accurate, Dr. Destiny. He certainly makes for an interesting rogue for the Crescent Crusader, especially in terms of being a psychological threat. And when you're a hero like Moon Knight, who suffers from mental problems, while also having an enemy that can get into your head, it's bound to take a turn for the worse. Number 4. Stained Glass Scarlet. Undoubtedly the most sympathetic rogue featured on this list, Scarlet Fasanera was a former nun turned vigilante and assassin who sought out revenge against the criminals that forced her to kill her own son. But this is only half of what makes her so tragic, as she also spent most of her life being a victim of severe abuse, which was caused by both her father and her ex-husband. Overall, I'd say Scarlet is a pretty badass character, especially with her being so highly skilled in martial arts and in wielding a crossbow. Apparently she also shared some kind of psychic link with Moon Knight, but since it was never really explained in the comics, I'm kind of speculative towards it, although I do find the concept to be somewhat fascinating. Number 3. Midnight Man. One of the first antagonists to ever be confronted by the Lunar Legionnaire, Anton Mogar was a world-renowned art thief known for breaking into museums in the middle of the night and stealing valuable paintings without ever being caught by the police. At least until he was stopped by Moon Knight and seemingly died during their encounter, in which he ended up falling to his death. Despite this, he managed to survive the ordeal, but was horribly disfigured after coming into contact with some hazardous materials while hiding out in the sewers. Yeah, there's not really too much going on with this particular rogue, but damn do I love his design. It looks so dark and ominous while also giving off mysterious and spooky vibes. Number 2. Shadow Knight. This psychotic and unhinged counterpart was quite literally born to be an enemy of the Cowled Avenger. Randall Spector is the younger brother of Mark Spector, aka Moon Knight, whom he carries a deep-rooted hatred towards for being chosen by the Egyptian moon god Khonshu to be an avatar instead of him. Driven by intense jealousy and resentment, Randall would later undergo special treatments which granted him most of the same abilities as his older brother, ultimately becoming the dark and twisted reflection of Moon Knight. I've seen plenty of sibling rivalries between heroes and villains in comics, but this one just might be the most well-written in my opinion. Plus, the dynamic that's essentially given to us here with the Spector brothers is really fucking awesome. Both are very similar in some fashion, while also very different from each other at the same time. It's a shame he didn't end up as my number 1 on this list, although I was considering that as an option. And speaking of my number 1, my favorite Moon Knight villain is none other than Bushman. Who else deserves to be at the top of this list than the guy who inadvertently set into motion Mark Spector's transformation into Moon Knight? Raoul Bushman was once a mercenary for hire who worked alongside Spector during the raid of an archaeological site in Sudan. After witnessing his needlessly cruel behavior, Spector attempted to put a stop to Bushman, but was nearly beaten to death by him and left behind in the desert where he would certainly die. This, of course, is what led Spector to be discovered by Khonshu, and the rest is pretty much history from that point on. So obviously, because he holds so much importance towards the lore of Moon Knight, I gotta put him as my number 1. Not to mention that he's also a pretty hardcore character in general, being an expertise in guerrilla warfare and having sharp metal teeth he could use to tear out your esophagus like a savage beast. Think of him as a mix between a villain from the Rambo movies and Jaws from The Spy Who Loved Me, which to me just adds to how great of a villain he truly is. And now for some honorable mentions of rogues I originally planned to put on my list, but ended up not making the cut. The Black Spectre, Sun King, and last but not least, Ketamine. Okay, that one's meant more as an inside joke that only die-hard fans will understand. So there we have it. Those are my top 5 Moon Knight villains. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know who your favorite Moon Knight villains are. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And hopefully I will see you guys in the next video. Catch y'all later.